From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Thank you very much. Wow. This is a nice place. And I'm just talking to Javier. You got thousands of people outside on the street. They want to get into your restaurant, Javier. We're going to have to expand it.
have to make a lot of tacos now.
You're right. You're right. And thank you very much. I want to thank everybody for being here. We just had a very nice endorsement from RFK Jr., Bobby. And I'll be talking about that. We're heading out right after this. We're going to be going to Arizona. We'll be talking about that and a lot of other things too. But I just want to thank everybody. And I want to thank Bobby. That was very nice. That was really very nice. That's big. He's a great guy, respected by everybody. So thank you all for this incredible welcome we're getting. And I'm going to tell Javier the next time we do this together, he's going to give me a little light up here. You know, can you give me a little light so you can read this little speech? But you know what it does? It makes you speak a little bit less, so that's okay too. But I do want to thank you all, and I want to thank Javier. This is a fantastic restaurant, and the reputation is as good as it gets, as good as it gets. And I'm going to come here next time to eat. Is that okay? I will be doing that too. We have with us Lieutenant Governor Stavros Anthony, wherever Stavros is. Thank you very much, Stavros. That's an honor. We'll see you soon, okay? Thank you. That's really an honor. Great guy, too. And Nevada GOP Chairman Michael McDonald. Michael? And he's very happy about the no tax on tips because he was the first one that presented after the young, beautiful waitress that suggested. I said, what do you think of it, Michael? He said, I think it's a great idea. But we've come here today to talk about the biggest promise I think that the restaurant workers have had in a long time, and that's no tax on tips. And in our case, we mean it. Somebody that I know just copied it, but you know that's not going to happen. If you're a restaurant worker, a bartender, a hospitality worker, a caddy, a barber, a mover, driver of any kind, or anyone else, you rely on a lot of tip income, hopefully a lot. But when I win in November, hopefully we're going to win. We're going to turn our country around. We're going to make America great again. We're going to let you keep 100% of your tip income and not be harassed. And just so you understand, the other side, Kamala, have you ever heard of her, Kamala? Nobody ever heard of her before. She lost in the first round. She was the first one out. It's a weird thing. He got 14 million votes, and he's sitting on a beach angry as hell. And she got no votes, and she's running. So you explain that to me. But the United States is home to an estimated 5.5 million workers whose livelihoods depend on tip income. and they work with their hands and their talent, their sweat and their skill, and they are really skilled people, and they're great people. They're people that have been with me always, and I'm with them. I'm doing them a big favor. Nobody ever heard of this concept before, and it's something that makes a lot of sense. As soon as I heard it, I said, let's do it. And then they copied us a couple of months later, but I don't think anybody's buying it. I don't think anybody's buying it. It's like last night, the speech. She made 26 different things that were lies. She lied, but that's okay because a lot of people lie. They'll do anything to get elected, but she lied about, she's increasing taxes, I'm decreasing taxes, and she put it the other way around. Perhaps she misspoke, perhaps. Nearly 2/3 of the workers are women, and an estimated 700,000 single mothers nationwide rely on tip income to support their children. These are some of the best and hardest working people in America, and when I'm president, you are the ones I will be fighting for, and I'll be fighting for you very hard every single day. Kamala Harris is now pretending to endorse my policy. She's got a lot of other policies. She's a copycat. She's a flip-flopper. You know what a flip? She's the greatest flip-flopper in history. She went from communism to capitalism in about 2 weeks. But in fact, Kamala cast the tie-breaking vote to hire 87,000 new IRS agents to go after your tip income. They're going after it in a lot of ways, so I don't know what they're doing now. This has happened with a lot of industries. When we come out with something, they immediately fold. But you know that after the election, if something horrible, horrible happened, which is always a possibility, especially the way they cheat. But if something horrible happened, you know that you'd go right back and you'd never see anything about no tax on tips. You know that. Under Kamala and Crooked Joe Biden, where is he? Where's Joe? What happened to Joe? He's on a beach someplace. He's angry. The IRS has imposed costly and burdensome new reporting requirements on restaurant and other employers, and these employers are great people. They're great people. They really work hard, like Javier. They work very hard, and they do an incredible job. And this is going to make their life a little bit easier because, frankly, for them it's a lot better, too, when they have happy employees that are making a little more money and just do a better job. People like Javier are very happy. He was happy to hear about this. Every restaurant owner is happy to hear about this. But they're trying to squeeze every penny out of this tip income the government is. And now they're not going to be able to do that. We're going to get this done very fast, too, by the way. Kamala also sponsored legislation to blow up the tip system entirely, which would inflict financial calamity on food servers and bartenders in Las Vegas and all across America. They have bills pending and things pending and resolutions pending and special orders pending where they're going after your tips. I don't know what they're going to do with that. Are they supposed to be dropping? I assume they're going to be dropping all that stuff at least until after the election. They'll bring it back after the election. Kamala supports a bill to eliminate the federal tip credit, which would force restaurants to impose large service charges on diners, meaning customers will not leave tips at all, and you'll be stuck with a minimum wage or whatever you might be making. This is something that they're forcing. I will never let that happen. Under the Trump administration, you'll keep your tips, and restaurant workers will keep all of your hard-earned money. I met this incredible young woman. She was standing behind the counter. I walked into a restaurant, whatever it may be. What was that restaurant? That Chick-fil-A, right? Very religious owner and a great guy, and it's good stuff. And she saw me and she said, "President Trump," and she gave me the biggest hug. She said, "You saved my college," and she loved that college, right? And you love me, and I love you too. I do actually. But it was like instant chemistry, right?
Yes, immediate. I told them earlier, we're best friends.
Yeah. They didn't know I was coming. We do that surprise. I guess we do that for certain reasons, like security and things. We don't want to broadcast it too much. But I walked in and she grabbed me and I grabbed her, but I saved her college. That's the historically black colleges and universities, and she loved her college. She loved her college. She thought it was. I said, "Do you really like it? Was it good?" Go ahead, give it a little public.
I love the illustrious Clark Atlanta University.
Do you see? And she really did. It was great to see that, as opposed to, "Oh, it was okay." She thought it was great. So I'll see you in a little while. Thank you, honey. Thank you very much for being here. We'll all be joined today by Nicole Williams, the mother of a 6-year-old member of the Culinary Union and a bartender. Can we get the Culinary Union to maybe vote for Trump? Because, they're great people. They're always have a head of, like a Democrat, the head, even if the Republican's better, and a lot of the Republicans aren't better, but I'm a lot better, and I'm the one that got this thing done. And so if we could speak to the head guy, let him be nice and easy, just relax. We're going to win. The state is looking very good. We just got a poll. We're leading by a lot. But we want to get the Culinary Union. How many members of the Culinary Union are here? Oh, you have a lot. I can tell you have a lot. But I think a lot of them, we had a poll done, and a lot of them are voting for us, I can tell you right now. But people that depend on tip income for our family. So, Nicole, if I could ask you to come up and say a few words. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Mr.
Please.
Trump.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This is the honor of my life to be up here with my favorite president. And his no tax on tips policy is going to help my family. It's going to bring immediate relief to my pocketbook and my 7 kids. And all of you here who have children and families to take care of, this is going to be a great thing for all of us. So let's get out and vote for President Trump. Let's win Nevada for President Trump. Let's get out there. Register all your friends and family. Tell everybody about this policy.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very nice. That's great. Thank you very much, Nicole. Thank you. I'll bet she does a great job, too. I'll bet you do a great job. Do you have any doubt about Nicole? I don't think so, right? You love it, right? You love doing it?
I love it.
That's great. I can see it. Thank you very much. We're also have a little bit of a special announcement. Our host, Javier, began in the restaurant business as a dishwasher, worked his way up to being a chef. Now he owns an entire family of Mexican restaurants in Las Vegas and the Las Vegas area. How many restaurants are there? How many? 5. This guy's got a lot of cash. That's fantastic. It's a great story. We love the Hispanic people, and the Hispanic people love us. He was just saying, he's not a big fan of what's happening on the other side. They'll destroy our country. We'll end up in a depression like in 1929 if they get in with what they're proposing. Last month, Joe Biden stopped at one of Javier's restaurants to tout his support in the Latino community. And, Joe walked in. It's like not the most. It wasn't too exciting when he walked in. He didn't know where the hell he was. What kind of a restaurant? Is this Italian? He says, is this a French restaurant? Looks like a French restaurant. No, we have to focus on her because he's gonzo, so we'll focus on her. She's terrible. She's worse than he is. By the way, he's the worst president in the history of the United States. Jimmy Carter is very happy because he is considered to be a brilliant president by comparison. He's a very happy man. And she's considered to be the worst vice president in history. I don't know who the hell did that. If they do polls and they do studies, she's considered to be the worst vice president in history. 6 weeks ago, they were laughing at her. She was a joke. And now she got the nomination. She didn't get any votes, but she got the nomination. Explain that one. But I understand that Javier has something he would like to say about that, and so I'll ask Javier to come up and say a couple of words. Thank you. About the meeting you had with Joe.
Oh, thank you for being here, President Donald Trump. Me and my family really appreciated you guys give us the opportunity to host this event, so important. And I was telling them earlier, before you got here, that I came when Ronald Reagan was the president. And you know what? I really miss those times. So I need you to please make America great again.
Thanks, Abby. Thank you. And we will. We will. You got a good sample.
My daughter over there,
Yes.
and she agrees with you 100%.
Good.
My daughter over there.
It's a beautiful daughter.
She really thinks that you are cuter than Kamala.
Oh, I see. She agrees on that. Well, that's a good thing to agree on. That's very nice. Thank you very much, Sally. Appreciate it. Great job you're doing. So thank you to Javier, to everybody under my leadership. Our Latino American community has prospered like, as you know, and as he knows, prospered like never before. Yeah. And you know, we're winning. We won places. The governor of Texas called me. The last election, we won every border town along the border, and they're almost entirely Hispanic. And we won all of them. We won the votes. First time, they said, since Reconstruction. So I said, when you say Reconstruction, you know, that's a little complicated word in a sense because it means a lot of things to a lot of people. But I said, that means a civil war. Is that what you're referring to? That's right. Since the Civil War, that's never happened. And we did it twice. We did it in 16, and we did even better in 20. We actually did much better in 20 than we did in 16. But lots of strange things happen in life, right? But we're doing better now than either of those two. There's more spirit. I mean, you look at outside in the street, how many people are out there. And I only hope they stick around when I leave and they come into your restaurant. You'll never be able to serve them. But just too many people. But you're going to see. But Hispanic American household incomes hit an all-time high under the Trump administration. Hispanic American unemployment rate hit the lowest it's ever hit, lowest ever. Hispanic American poverty rate reached a record low, the lowest number ever. And by the way, it's now inched up very substantially. And yesterday, Javier, they did something that was terrible. It was just found out. They reported that 818,000 jobs were here that weren't. They were fake. They reported fake jobs, and they were going to announce that after November 5th, the most important day in the history of our country, the election. They were going to report it after, but there was a whistleblower, somebody leaked it. There was a leaker, a friendly leaker, a patriot leaker, leaked it, and that's not a revision. You know, usually they call that a revision, like there's, 10,000 jobs. This is 818. I think it was the biggest number, certainly in memory. 818,000 fake jobs they reported. They don't exist. Total fake jobs. And this is what we're dealing with. And that's at a big number. That's a big, big downward number, in other words, on their reporting. But they reported these jobs, and now they've had to revise it and take them off the books. More than 1.5 million Hispanic Americans were lifted out of poverty during my administration, and the household wealth of the median Hispanic family grew by 65%. That's a lot, Javier. 65. It makes sense, right? Now it's heading south, by the way, just in case but we'll get it back up fast. The Hispanic American high school graduation rate reached an all-time high, and home ownership among Hispanics also hit a record high. And for working families and small businesses like this one, this is not a small business, this is a big business, but we'll call it a small business for tax purposes, okay? We delivered the largest tax cuts and regulation cuts in the history of our country. We achieved energy independence, and we built the greatest economy any time in the history of the world. It was the strongest economy anybody had ever seen. Under Kamala, it has been one disaster after another. Take a look at the border. You want to really see a disaster. I was there yesterday. What a disaster. After Kamala cast the tie-breaking votes on the bills that caused the worst inflation in decades, the Harris price hikes have cost the typical Nevada family. And you take a look. So the Nevada family spent $32,000 more under this horrible regime of people that don't know what the hell they're doing. Now Kamala is promising communist price controls on food. Her plan will cause catastrophic inflation, shortages of rationing. The restaurant industry will be obliterated. And I say welcome to 1929. Do you know what 1929 was? You don't want to know, right? You don't want to know, but that's where they're headed if they do what they're planning. Kamala is also pledging the largest tax hikes in American history, and Las Vegas hospitality industry would actually never recover from that. It's the largest tax hikes in history. And, you know, you heard her words last night. She doesn't talk about that. You notice they talked, I guess you mentioned the Trump name many, many times, like 19 or 21 or something. She didn't mention the border. She didn't mention inflation. She didn't mention the bad economy. She didn't mention crime. She didn't mention any of the things that she's supposed to be mentioning. But she mentioned Trump 21 times or some crazy thing. And she mentioned thank you about 50 times. Did you see the beginning? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, 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 thank you. I said, what the hell is wrong with her? But then she recovered. She did much better. But she didn't tell anything. She didn't say anything. She talked about her family, how beautiful San Francisco was. I put out a note. I said, well, the word was is very important because what the hell happened? Under her, as district attorney, she destroyed San Francisco. And then as the attorney general, she ruined the state of California with her stupid policies. But she was showing her beautiful life in San Francisco, and everybody was joking. That was before she destroyed it. She's supported the idea of a 70 to 80% tax hike. I don't think the man behind me will be happy. You wouldn't mind paying 80% in taxes, would you? What the hell? He says, whatever's good for America, right? 80% tax rate, and now she's even pushing a tax on unrealized capital gains. In other words, the appraisers are going to make a lot of money, which will soon be applied to small business owners, and you will be forced to sell your restaurant immediately, and the new owner won't do the job, and this restaurant will be closed. But we're not going to let that happen, Javier. We're going to make it bigger, better, stronger, just like the country. So this is really beyond socialist, because she's a socialist, but she's really a Marxist. A Marxist is a step beyond. Remember how you said at the State of the Union? We will not have socialism in America. We will never be a socialist country. I was right. We skipped over socialism. We're down to communism, okay? I was right about it, though. I like to be right. This is, thank you. I like that woman. Where are you? I like that. She said, you're always right. But this is beyond socialism. This is the beginning of communism, and it really is, and we can't let that happen. You look at Venezuela, you look at some of these countries that we all know so well, and what happened to them can happen to us. It's just a bigger version. That's where we're headed if this group gets elected. But we'll not let Kamala and the group turn America into a communist nation. We're not going to let it happen. We can't let it happen. I'll cut taxes, and what we're doing is we're cutting taxes, regulations. We're going to defeat inflation, rapidly bring prices down, and make America affordable again. It's not affordable. People can't buy, as Javier said before, they can't buy sneakers. They can't buy anything. To help seniors, we will have no tax on Social Security benefits. That's a big deal. I don't know. I'm trying to figure for restaurant workers, and all workers, tip workers, it's no tax on tips, but the Social Security, no tax, because they've driven them out of business. These people have suffered, and they've done things the right way. They've saved, and then the inflation destroyed them. And we're going to have no tax on Social Security benefits, and that's a big thing, and it's very important. Just as important as what I said before about the no tax on tips. Kamala wants to bring sky-high California energy prices to the rest of the country, and they have just destroyed California. First time ever, more people left California than came in. They've never had that before because they have the best weather, the most beautiful land, everything is so good, but they have a terrible governor. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing, but he's got a great line of bullshit, you know? He's got a good line of stuff. We're doing great in California. You know the U-Haulets and the trailers and stuff? They go to Texas, Florida, other states, right? And they don't know what to do. They only go one way. They want to try and get them. They want to try and get them back. They have a hard time bringing them back. They don't know what to do. But under the extremist net zero energy policies, what you call them, the extremist, the radical people, they're really hurting our country and ultimately destroying our country. The environmental extremists, we call them. Nevada electricity prices have already increased by 50%. So it's 50%. Do you see them going up there? I mean, you see that? They've gone up by 50% over a very short period of time, and I'll unleash American energy, and we'll cut your prices in half. We'll be able to get your energy prices cut in half, and that goes for the whole nation. That's ridiculous that they've increased that much, and you see that. Wow, that's terrible. I'll deliver universal school choice, letting your child go to the public, private, religious, charter school of your choice, the family's choice, and it's something. School choice is a big deal. It's a big deal. Everybody wants school choice. And I'll support our police and stop the crime wave that was caused by this woman. What she's done on the border, she was the border czar. She doesn't want to talk about it. She said, I'm not the border czar. For 4 years, she's the border czar. Now she's not the border czar all of a sudden. You know why? Because people are coming in at levels that nobody's ever seen before. They're coming in by the millions, and they're coming from jails and prisons. They're slightly different meaning. They're coming from mental institutions and insane asylums. They're emptying out so many of their cities of criminals, and they're busing them into the good old USA. They're busing the worst gang members, the worst drug dealers, terrorists, and they're bringing them in and dropping them here, and they're saying, if you come back, we're going to kill you. We're going to kill you if you come back, or we'll give you the death penalty, but we're going to kill you if you come back. So they're dropping their criminals here. They're emptying their jails and dumping everybody, and these are tough people too, and they're dumping them into our country. And you take a look at the prison populations all over the world. We're not just talking about South America, all over the world, the Congo in Africa. Many people are coming out of the Congo, and they're coming from jails in the Congo. So their jails are being emptied, the mental institutions are being emptied, and they're all coming to the USA. They'll be customers very shortly of Javier's fine restaurant. What's happening is horrible. It's horrible, and they're destroying our country, and we're going to do the largest deportation in the history of America. We have no choice. We have no choice. And you see the death. You see the death and destruction they're causing. I was at the border yesterday with some people whose families were just obliterated by these horrible, horrible people that have been allowed to come in. And remember, terrorists are coming in at levels we've never seen before. Only bad things can happen. So I'll secure the border, keep radical Islamic terrorists out of our country, and we will do something that's very important. I will prevent World War III. You have World War III is on the cusp. You take a look at what's happening. Biden didn't have a clue what he did with Russia and Ukraine, what that happened. That's a war that should have never started. If I were president, zero chance that would have happened. It would have never, and it didn't for 4 years. Same thing with Israel. October 7th would have never happened. And you know what else? You wouldn't have had that horror show, the most embarrassing day in our history, Afghanistan. And very importantly, you wouldn't have had inflation, because inflation was caused by energy. Now it's caused by everything. And the prices are so high that people are being driven out of business, including a lot of Hispanic people, a lot of black people. What's happening with the black population is they're losing their jobs to the people that are pouring across the border. The black population is being decimated. You wait till you see the real numbers that come. They're losing their jobs because Biden and Harris are allowing millions of people to come into our country, and they're taking black people's jobs, African American jobs. They're taking those jobs, and a lot of those jobs are Hispanic jobs too. And the next thing that's going to be hit, I can tell you can tell your union leaders, the unions are going to be hit really, really hard. So I just want to end by saying that November 5th is a very important day. I believe it will go down as the most important day in the history of our country. That means you have to vote. It's going to be a big vote. If we win this state, if we win Nevada, we're going to win something that's going to be very, very special. We're going to win the whole thing. If we win Nevada, we're going to win the whole thing. And I don't know how the hell we can lose it. I've never seen such support, the support we have. So to Javier and his family, it's nice. Thank you. Thank you very much. I like that group over there. You know, they're a little bit frisky, but I like you very much. So I just want to thank everybody here. It's you're incredible people. I'm behind you 100%. November 5th, you're going to vote a little earlier than that, but whatever you got to vote. Make sure your vote is secure, because remember, they cheat like hell. Make sure, and again, we win this state. We win the whole thing, and we're going to turn our country around. So thank you very much. Thanks very much, Javier. Thanks. Thank you, everybody.
Yourself off the ground, I said, young man, 'cause you're in a new town. There's no need to be unhappy, young man. There's a place you can go, I said, young man. When you're short on your dough, you can stay there, and I'm sure you will find many ways to have a good time. It's fun to stay at the it's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything for your men to enjoy. You can hang out with all the boys. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. You can get yourself clean. You can have a good meal. You can do whatever you feel. Young man, one thing, no man does it all by himself. I said, young man, put your pride on the shelf and just go there to the YMCA. I'm sure they can help you today. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything for your men to enjoy. You can hang out with all the boys. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. You can get yourself clean. You can have a good meal. You can do whatever you feel. Young man, I was once in your shoes. I said I was down and out with the blues. I felt no man cared if I were alive. I felt the whole world was so tired. That's when someone came up to me and said, young man, take a walk up the street. It's a place there called the YMCA. They can start you back on your way. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything for your men to enjoy. You can hang out with all the young man, are you listening to me? Young man, what do you want to be? YMCA. You'll find it at the
Vamos a tratar de hacer algunas preguntas. Mr. President, what kind of cabinet or advisor positions are you considering for RFK Jr.?
Can you get the microphone?
Look, I'm just going to go right now, and we're heading out to Arizona. And we'll be seeing, but he's really a terrific guy. I've had a long-term friendship with him. He's a very talented person. It's an honor. He just announced, and it's a great honor. It really is. He's very popular. He's very smart. He has a great family, wonderful family, and so I'm going to say hello to him now.
Mr. Trump, he says he's going to stay on the ballot in 40 other states. Is that sufficient? Do you think he should try to get off the ballot in all states?
Well, I think they're trying to get off ballot. I mean, we'll see. I mean, they're going to have to work that out.
Mr. President,
I think having his support is.
Mr. President, RFK, his words about your policies and praising your policies, is that to help you with the unaffiliated, like in North Carolina, the independent vote, and the Jewish vote, considering...
Well, I think so. He's just a respected person. Not everybody agrees with everything he says, but that's true with everybody. But he's a very respected person. He's really a very beloved person in many ways. I mean, he's beyond. I think, frankly, if the Democrats had treated him very badly, and then they ended up treating Biden the same way as they treated him, but they treated him very badly. I think if he ran in the Democrat primary, he would have beaten Biden. That's my opinion. But they wouldn't let him run. I mean, they came up with obstacles that were impossible, like you have to have 60% of the vote to run, and they came up with things that were crazy. But they didn't want him running. I think if he would have run in the Democrat primary, I think he would have won. I think he would have beaten Biden.
Mr. Donald Trump, what is your message for DACA program?
The microphone so we can hear you, sir. Fox News has learned that at least 5 agents have been put on leave after what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. As the protectee, I'm just curious, do you feel that disciplinary action is warranted? Are you still able to feel safe with your security needs? And you can answer the microphone.
Look, I have great confidence in the Secret Service. I've been dealing with them a long time. And I will say that I don't know about the 5 or the 6 agents that you're talking about. I think they're from, for the most part, a different area. But I will say that they have learned a lot. And we lost a tremendous person in Corey, as you know. We thought we lost 2 more, and they came back, and they're doing really well. They're doing really well. As you know, we had 2 people that were so horribly injured, nobody thought they could make it. And the doctors up in the area, in the Butler area, these doctors were unbelievable. They saved them. But these 2 were badly injured, and now they're doing well. But a lot's been learned, and it'll make it better, and it'll make it safer. I will say this, that they've never provided us, and I think it came from the White House, they've never provided us with the number of people that we should have had for the massive rallies that we had, like at the size of Butler. You saw thousands and thousands of people as far as the eye could see. And I've always said that. I mean, I just felt it. They never gave us the number of people in terms of Secret Service people that were necessary. And yet Biden, who would have 10 people at a rally, was loaded up with Secret Service. So I've complained about that for a long time. They never gave us the number of people necessary. They were working with, and I know requests were made, but they were working for a long time, and a long time without the proper number of people. I've seen that, and just common sense, you could see it. Because we were getting crowds that were so, we had 107,000 people show up in New Jersey, in Wildwood, New Jersey. We had 88,000 people in South Carolina. We never had the number of people that were necessary to protect somebody in that, and including the people themselves. So I think they should probably look at that.
You mentioned rallies.
And that came out of Biden's office.
You mentioned
Mr. President, on the general state of the race, there's a
widespread perception that Kamala Harris replacing Joe Biden on the Democratic ticket has thrown you off your game, gotten under your skin. What do you say to that?
No, I think we're doing great. I think we're leading. We just had a Rasmussen poll. We're up by 5. We're doing, I think, very well. What is unfair is that it's unfair to him, but it's also unfair to me. I was leading by 17 or 18 points after the debate, and they said, you know, he's going to lose. And they went and told him, you're going to lose. We want to replace you. Crazy Nancy Pelosi went in with a group with Obama and with others, but they went in with a group and they said, you know, we want you out. And they took him out, and it was a bad thing to do, but also unfair to me. I spent $100 million fighting against the man that won in their party, and we had a debate, and the debate was good for me, it wasn't good for him, and then all of a sudden they take him out and they put somebody new in that never got a vote. She didn't get a single vote. He got 14 million votes, she got none. So I'm running against her. Now we're up in the polls. We're winning on the swing states, but you know, I've got to beat 2 people instead of 1. That never happened either, so it's not a very fair thing, but I live with it. Yeah, did you have one?
Yeah, do you think the rank and file of the union for the culinary workers are going to peel away from the leadership who endorsed Kamala?
I do. I think they're going to peel away and endorse me. I do. I think the culinary union is going to endorse a lot of the people. A big percentage of the people will endorse me. They always support at the top level. But they've supported me. I've had great support from culinary. Now with the no tax on tips, I think they're going to be very supportive of me. Yeah.
What led you to post about women's reproductive rights this morning? Has your stance on abortion changed?
Yeah, no, very good. I'm very strong on women's reproductive rights. The IVF, very strong. I mean, we're leaders in it. And I think people are seeing that, and votes are being taken, and that's what they've wanted for years. For 52 years, they've wanted votes to be taken by the states, and they wanted Roe v. Wade to be brought into the states. And it's really happening. It's really happening. We have a situation that for years that whole issue has been tearing our country apart, and now the states will get the vote. And, you know, if you look at many of the states are up right now, and they're getting the vote, and they're getting the vote that the people want. They wanted the vote of the people. And like Ronald Reagan, you know, I've gone through it a lot. But you're going to have choice, and you're going to have different things that you can talk about. But when you get into that issue and reproductive rights, I think what we've done is so right. What the Democrats do, take a look at what they're doing. They have, the governor of Minnesota has the right to kill a baby after birth. After birth. This isn't abortion. This is after birth. Because he's got that. And think of it, in Minnesota, he's got that right. And how can you have a right like that? And they're actually the radicals. If you think about it, they're actually the radicals. So we brought something out. Everybody wanted it this way. Everybody felt strongly about it. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, everybody. And every legal scholar wanted it brought back to the states. They brought it back to the states. The states are voting on it right now. A lot of them are voting on it right now. And I must say, Ohio became much more liberal in the sense of that vote. You know that. Kansas, much more liberal. Others, I guess, different. But it brought it back to the people. Nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted it to remain in the federal government. And it won't be in the federal government. It will never be in the federal government. It will be in the states where everybody wanted it. And if you go back and look back 10 years, 15 years, everybody wanted it. Legal scholars, everybody wanted it brought back to the states. And that's where it is.
Do not want abortion rights to be taken away from them. How do you respond to it?
They won't be taken away. They won't be taken away.
Mr. President,
ex-president, so a lot Latin people believe in you, and I know a lot of dreamers right now can work legal. What is your plan with that people that right now works legal in this country because they are?
You mean coming in legal? Oh, we're going to have a process to come in. We want people to come into our country, but they have to come in legally. We don't want people that are murderers, that are drug dealers, coming in from jails. We don't want that. We want people to come in but we want them to come in through a system legally. And we're going to open that system up. We need people. We need workers. We need a lot of people. And we want them to come into our country, but we don't want to come in from prisons. We don't want gang members that Venezuela gives us the MS-13 gang members. We don't want that.
A cornerstone of your economic proposal is to extend the 2017 tax cuts to lower the corporate rate further. Obviously, we propose no taxes on tips or Social Security benefits. Take it together.
Well, I'm reducing taxes. She's increasing taxes. And her increase on corporate taxes and even businesses like this, it's going to drive businesses into other countries. Because, other countries we have great international corporations. They can go anywhere. They can go into other countries. If they're offered better deals, they'll leave the United States, and that's what she's going to be doing. She'll force businesses, big businesses, to leave with all the jobs and everything else, to leave us, to leave this country and move to Europe and many different places and they're always fighting for our businesses, and many businesses have left. But we don't want that. And if they charge too much on taxes, these businesses, especially the big ones, they're international businesses, they're going to leave the United States. You're going to lose all the jobs, all the income, and we're going to end up being a third world country. And in many ways, because of the bad job that Kamala's done on the border, she was the border czar. Now she's trying to say she wasn't. But she ran the worst operation. I have the endorsement of the border people, the border unions, the ICE, every law enforcement group just about in America has endorsed me. What she's done on the border is so bad and so dangerous for our country, and it's going to ruin our country. We have to stop. We will have 100 million people come in from all over the world, not just South America. And this country will be a whole different place. It'll be a banana republic. But in many cases, when it comes to elections and borders, it already is.
So my question for you, Mr. President.
RFK Jr. has falsely said that the COVID vaccine is the deadliest vaccine ever made. What is your response to that?
Well, I'm going to have to see, because I haven't seen him yet. I'm going to see him in a little while.
Mr. President.
What happened?
An issue here in Southern Nevada, availability of land. One of your policies is saying releasing more federal land, building of houses.
Yeah.
How will you enact that here in Southern Nevada? Because that is a huge issue here in Southern Nevada, and it will be in the coming years.
Well, we want to have land so we can have housing built in certain areas like this area. They don't have the housing. And we have so much land, and we want to put it to use. So we're going to have land released, and on that land we're going to build housing. We're going to have housing built. And it'll be great for Nevada, and it'll be great for other areas.
I just want to follow up because I didn't ask my question before. So between all of that, between lowering the corporate tax rate, extending tax cuts, the proposal for tax and tips, you propose all that without any changes to entitlement benefits. That's talking about trillions of dollars added to the deficit. How do you plan to pay for it?
Growth. We're going to have tremendous growth. We're going to have tremendous if you remember when I gave the largest tax cuts ever given, we had a much lower rate, but the following year we took in more income. With a lower rate, we took in more income. And companies like Apple and others were bringing money in from Europe and other places. They were bringing in billions of dollars that they would have never brought in except for what I did. Also, just getting back to this other question, like Ronald Reagan before him on the abortion question, I happen to believe in exceptions. I think it's very important, but I say to people, you have to follow your heart. But probably you're at 85% of the people that agree with that in terms of just Republicans. But you have the life of the mother, rape, and incest. I happen to believe in the exceptions. I happen to believe also that the Democrats are the radical ones because they will do abortions and approve abortions in the 9th month, the 8th month, and also after birth, which is basically the execution of the baby in some cases. If you look at Minnesota, they have the right to do that. You have a man now who's running for vice president who signed a bill to sell tampons in boys' bathrooms, okay? Not to sell them, to give them. But the exceptions to me is very important. Some people don't agree, but for the most part, they do. I think it's up to probably 85 or 90%. But if you look at the voting, and it's so interesting to see, this issue is tearing our country apart. And it's really not tearing our country apart anymore, because now people get to vote, and they get to vote in their state. And for the most part, they believe in the exceptions, and they want the exceptions. It makes it a much easier way. At the same time, you have to follow your heart. You have to do what's right. But we brought it locally. It'll never be in the federal government again. It should have never been there. And again, for 52 years, from the beginning of Roe v. Wade, people have wanted to get it out. And many presidents have tried. They were unable to do it. And I just want to thank 6 very brave and brilliant Supreme Court justices for doing it. What they did is very brave. I'm going to Arizona now.